Hello everyone, today we are going to talk about Lincoln. Our group mates are fourby, terence, lulu, and adoph. Chapter 1 tells about Lincoln's childhood experience and the background of his parents. Lincoln's father was hardworking, but he just knew how to write his name. Lincoln's mother was intelligent, a little but he can't figure at all. Childhood Lincoln lived in tendency that's just 18 feet long and 16 wide, had a dirt floor and there's no window. Because of they're so poor, so they moved to Indiana. Another reason is Lincoln family faced slavery a lot, just in time Indiana is the estate. Abraham was 9, father died. Lincoln can't raise the children by himself, so he went back to Tennessee and returned with his wife. Abraham, like his stepmother, father, was very hardworking. Favorite kind of food is adoph stables. Although he don't know how to read, he will take a long time to finish the book. This food at home from his stories. He is also known for his mission. He once managed to get two men who got married on the same day to send them walk bride. People are still talking about this joke a year later. Abraham Lincoln knew he didn't want to be a farmer like his dad, but he did not specify a target, so when he was 21, he decided to find out. Once he joined a debate club and took part in town politics, he also went to the meetings of the court, the justice of the peace, asking his opinion of cases. What he said was always so funny, but very intelligent. So people began coming to Lincoln for legal advice. In 1942, Lincoln's friend convinced him to run for the Illinois State legislature. He didn't want, but close. Then he decided to run for the state legislature again. This time, Lincoln won. He decided he would be a better representative about law, so he began to read law books. Although he never studied law formally, he taught himself enough to earn his law license by studying every spare second of the day. In 1947, Lincoln moved to Springfield, the new state capital. Lincoln joined a group of liars who followed the Just Road. When Lincoln was starting out, the Americans were the Wings, Democrats. The Democrats supported the state's rights. They thought each state should have the power to do itself. Lincoln didn't mind the bad food or the rough life. He liked meeting people, he prized them with his funny stories, his friendliness, his skills, and his honesty. Lincoln was a strong supporter for Wing's project. Soon he became one of the most important party members in elections who were caught campaigning for Wing candidates. He knew thousands of voters by name. Lincoln was comfortable with most people, but he was shy and awkward around them. After he moved to Springfield, he met Mary Todd at a party. Mary liked Lincoln. He was a Southern Valley too. At 21, was very eager to get married. Mary was more interested in politics than a woman of the time. He often said that he wanted to marry a man who would be a president. They were married on November 4, 1842. When what brought Lincoln back to politics was the Pennsylvania Earthquake Act of 1854. For a long time, Americans have been arguing about slavery. Should it be legal and if so, where? In 1820, Israel becomes a state. Slavery was legal then. At the time, Congress had declared that this was as far north as slavery could go. In any land north of the Israel border, slavery would never be allowed. Decision. Never territory was north of the state. The people there could decide about slavery. They could make it legal if they wanted. Had Congress broken its promise? After people who were fighting to make it illegal. Lincoln did too, even though it was not exactly about having a hate slavery and wanted to end. A huge audience gathered. Terence, you gonna think about that black people. Lincoln fought the privilege, same right to decide about their life as white people. Lincoln and Douglas make comical opponents. Douglas was short, brown, and dignified. His nickname was Little John because he dressed elegantly and had a rich, deep voice. Lincoln was tall, thin, and awkward. He still dressed like a farmer and had a high, thin voice. While Lincoln was making a name for himself, the country was moving forward to a crisis. Cases in the South talking about leaving the United States to form their own country. President Jackson was a weak leader who didn't know how to control the South. He couldn't even keep support of his own party. In the 1860s, the Democratic Party could not agree on whom to support for president. It was split between Stephen Douglas and other candidates. The night of the election, Lincoln and his fellow were practicing covered the state's capital. News about the election kept coming by the telegram. At 2 a.m., the results were certain. The Democratic Party was divided into two candidates. Lincoln had won more votes than the other candidates. He was an unlikely president because he had only 1 year of school. He has almost no experience in national government. He was not a hero. The campaign. An old girl named Grace Bell had written a letter to him. She said she thought he looked more like a president if he had a beard. So now he grew one. This is the end of our presentation.